So guys, today is the day. After many years of deliberating on buying a sawmill and a couple of months of trying to figure out exactly what I wanted and a week of waiting for shipping, it's finally here. I now am the proud owner of a Woodland Mills HM136MAX with the Woodlander XL trailer for mobile milling and moving it around anywhere I need it on the property or going to other properties, etc. So it is now time to unbox and assemble all this because I cannot wait to get to milling some of the logs and some of the wood over here that's accumulated in the wood pile and some other stuff on the property that I want to take and mill up into dimensional lumber, into slabs, and just a lot of projects around the farm that need to use and utilize this sawmill. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it because I'm sure there's going to be a long video of assembling the trailer, assembling the head, and getting it together. It's about 1 o'clock now. I'd love to have a log on this by the end of the day, but I might be a little optimistic about that. So let's go through here real quick, take a look at what we got. We've got a 4-foot cant hook here. We've got a cover for the sawmill, which is going to be great to keep it out of the weather until we can build a structure to house it in. And we've got some extra blades here, 10-pack of their hardwood and 10-pack of their general purpose. So we've got our extras up here. We've got our 136MAX head here. Should be everything we need to put it together to put on the trailer. And then this box here is the Woodlander XL trailer for the 136. We've got the extension track and the extension for the trailer all together. So this will do have a 16-foot capacity altogether once it's fully assembled. So with that said, again, let's go ahead and start getting into this thing because I'm pretty sure I got quite a little bit of work ahead of me to get this trailer up and going. All right, so I've gotten the extension pieces off, not too light. So let's go ahead and get this trailer unboxed and get to assembling it. Luckily, when the FedEx freight guy came, the old T86 over the pallet forks on it made it so much easier getting this thing unloaded. We got the top off, and man, we got a lot of stuff in here. Hopefully we can get this put together fairly quickly. So first off, we've got a little plate here. We've got our instructions here, and got a lot to unbox, so let's get to it. So guys, since I didn't get very good footage, in my opinion, sitting here editing all this, I figured I'd give a little bit of voiceover while we do these time lapses. Now, one thing I found was crucial in getting this thing together in a timely manner was getting everything unpacked and laid out. As you see, you can clearly see what parts you need to grab, what hardware you need to grab, and it just made assembling things so much faster. Just took a while to get everything unboxed. And the little MT100 really shone brightly here. I don't know what I'd have done trying to get this thing assembled by myself without the MT100 with the pallet forks. It helped getting the Honda engine out of the box so much easier. It helped getting the sawmill head out and all of the heavier components. The HM136MAX and I'm assuming the 130 both are very big and have lots of heavy components to them, so the little MT100 really saved my back and a lot of strain in getting everything unboxed and laid out. And yeah, I was not kidding about how cold and windy it was that day. You can really see the wind just a-whipping. Now, getting to the actual assembly of the trailer, I skipped the very first of it in the time lapse, unfortunately, but you get the first couple sections of track and crossbar, and you support it with 4x4s on the shipping crate the trailer came with. Then you just bolt on all of your pieces working from the center out. Now, the crucial part of this is making sure that you have everything square and your track is exactly the right spacing, because if it's uneven, the head's not going to roll freely back and forth on it, and if it's not square, same issue. So getting the initial steps right here perfect is really crucial, because if you don't get the beginning square, straight, true, then everything you build off of that's going to be no good, and you're going to have to go back and it's going to be a pain in the butt to square this all up later. So really glad I took the time to read the instructions before starting and saw that that was a very crucial part of this, was getting everything squared up, getting everything correct width of the tracks, and just taking my time there. I did underestimate severely present me after building this and editing this video compared to past me that was so optimistic about getting this thing built in 5 hours. I think grand total it took me 18 hours worth of work over 2 days to get the sawmill complete. And as I state later in the video, I was kind of under the gun to get it together because it got dropped off on a Wednesday afternoon, and then Saturday morning it was supposed to pour down rain on me, so I had to get it assembled, get the cover on it so it would not be out in the elements. I can say, as I'm digging through the hardware box right there, they do a phenomenal job of labeling all of the bags of hardware. They have all of the sizes clearly in the bag, so you're not having to take a tape measure and measure the length of the bolts. Everything is clearly marked, everything is laid out really well, and it just made assembly much easier to have the hardware so well organized in shipment. And ended up having a lot of hardware left over, but I believe that was maybe intentional, maybe not, just because I got the trailer and the extension for the trailer rather than just doing a ground mount. So I'm assuming that's why I had the extra hardware at the end of it. So guys, I think we've reached a good stopping point. It has gotten dark on me. It took me a lot longer than I anticipated to unbox all of this and lay all the parts out. But now the parts are all laid out. The assembly process has been pretty quick. I mean, this is a little bit over 2 hours worth of work right here, and the trailer's basically all together. We got to put the rest of the side rails on and put the under braces on and the axle and the tongue, but pretty much there, and then get the head going. So I think I'm gonna call it a day, and we will be back in the morning. All right guys, beginning of day 2, we're not gonna mess about. Let's go ahead and get the time lapse started and get to work on this thing. I am ready to saw some logs, and I think I should be able to get this done today. This was day 2, as I said just a little bit ago, and I was under the gun because rain was supposed to start falling at 5 or 6 a.m. on Saturday, and I started at 9:30 a.m. on Friday here. So I was foot to the floor, and as you see a little bit later, we unfortunately don't get to see the assembly of the sawmill head, just due to the fact that I worked into the night and into the morning, going until about 3 a.m. And I think I finally got packed up and everything put away about 3:30 a.m. So it was a very long day of assembly this day. This part absolutely wrecked my back. As you can see, most of you guys know that I'm taller, over 6 foot, and having to bend over and torque all of these bolts and nuts, it took a toll on me. I cannot tell you how many nuts and bolts there were, but there were a ton of them. And as you see, you start at the very center brace and you torque your way to the outsides of the trailer. But this was probably the most difficult part of it. In all actuality, was going and torquing everything from the center out on the trailer. Once that's done, there's not much more other than putting the rear onto the trailer, the crossbars, the jacks, the axle, and the tongue. And those are the easy parts. The hard part is getting this thing true and square and making sure that your tracks are level. I can't stress how important it is to make sure all of that is done before you continue progressing in the steps, because it's just going to be a headache when you have to go back and do it later on when you've got more components put on the trailer. So just take your time, plan ahead, unlike I, and get ready for a lot of bending over and a lot of torquing. Okay, so my back is thoroughly broken, but I think the hardest part of this is over with, and that is getting the rails aligned correctly, getting it squared, and getting everything torqued to spec. As you saw, I don't know how many bolts I just torqued, but it was a very high amount, and my back is screaming. So now we can finish up the bottom side of the trailer, put the axle on and the tongue, and get to the sawmill head. Here, as I said, is where things started really taking off. After all the bolts were torqued, it really accelerates, and you can see the light at the end of the tunnel because it's looking like a trailer. But you put the crossbars in, you put the jacks in, axle in the tongue, and that's pretty much it, other than your wiring harness, putting your lights on, all the small stuff. And the sawmill head actually went together a lot easier, a lot quicker than the trailer. I think it was just so labor intensive with the trailer, just making sure everything's square, making sure everything is correct, that you don't have that as much with the sawmill head. You put the base together, you put the uprights through the head, you tilt it up. Again, thankful for the MT100 because it made it so much easier out here working by myself to tilt the head up, get it on the rollers. Again, made it so much easier putting the Honda engine on there and other larger components like the cross brace at the top, and just made life so much easier. But if you've got a spouse or children or a buddy, it definitely makes it easier if you have an extra set of hands to build this thing. But as I show right here, either through hard-headedness or who knows what, I was able to build it myself in 2 days' time. So it is possible, but having equipment, having machinery definitely makes it much, much easier. So guys, as you can see, big change in scenery. It is 2:25 in the morning, and I have finally got this thing mostly together. There's a lot of tweaking left to do. There's some other things to do. I got to get a battery for it, got to get oil for it, and finish some stuff, the anti-tipping stuff on the rails. There's other things to do. Main concern is it's supposed to start raining in 6 hours, less than 6 hours, and I have nowhere to put this thing and nowhere to keep it out of the weather apart. So I had to rush through, get it assembled, get it together so I can put the cover on it and keep it protected from the rain we're supposed to have all weekend. So that is where we're at. Sorry for the video cutting off basically when I got the trailer done and nothing on the head assembly, but it got dark on me and I was under the gun and I had to get it done tonight. Well, technically this morning, but yeah, you get the drift. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one when hopefully we're gonna be using this thing and getting after the wood pile back here.